Hi Pisces, welcome to your July 2020 General Tarot reading. It's Verena here. So I was doing a couple of abundance readings that are specifically tied to that area, and I was using a particular spread that somebody else created, and I had some tech issues that prevented me from filming. And now look where we're at. We're on the first of the month when I'm recording this. So I'm just going to do a straightforward reading because I don't want to have to go through all the rigmarole. I hope that that will be okay. And it's not that I'm, I hope that you have a lot of abundance. But then I don't have to look at anything. I can just do what I got to do. Wow, fire. Yeah. A lot of drama. A lot of drama. Okay. And it's funny because I did like compatibility readings for Pisces and Leo. And Leo's a fire sign. But this is a general reading, so it doesn't have to be just like love situation. So the heart of the matter is the Five of Wands, and this can go either way. For some people, I have a feeling, though, for Pisces, this isn't really something that you are that thrilled about, because this is a card of competition. Now, taking into account what is happening in our world, and my world is the United States, so sorry if I'm not speaking about your neck of the woods in the world, but we have been having openings after several months of lockdowns in various degrees, and of course there are 50 states in our union, so it's like having 50 different countries sometimes with different policies. But in any case, some people, or maybe most people, I don't know. I live in my own little bubble, but people have started to go back to work. And what I can see with this card is that it can feel like, what am I doing? What am I doing now? All of a sudden, we're going back into this. We have in the past position the Eight of Cups, leaving what doesn't serve you. And this could even be just on the emotional level. The cups relate to the emotions. Maybe not like physically leaving a situation. So emotionally kind of like divorcing yourself from a job. Maybe you were working remotely or you were on furlough and you weren't really thinking into, well, I don't know. I shouldn't put ideas into your head, but if you were kind of just going with the flow and thinking, okay, we're going to be off for 8 weeks and now we're back, but not really considering that it would be the same as you left it, or maybe even worse, because things have changed and people have been traumatized by this in different ways. And not having a regular schedule has led some people to have unhealthy habits develop, and maybe just anxiety and stuff like that. So they may be, people may be acting like, especially if there are people who were fired, that they kind of trimmed the budget or the work staff, that there's just like jockeying for position and that sort of thing. And I do feel that Pisces as a sign tends to be like, doesn't want any part of that scene. So that's one possibility. Another is that with this recent Venus retrograde, and that happened in May and June, and then I'm pretending, oh yeah, it is July, I don't have to pretend. And then as I'm recording this, we're having a Mercury retrograde until July 12th. These can bring blasts from the past, people from the past. And it's like, you know, you might have left this person because you wanted more out of it, and then they called you back and you're like, wow, I'm so flattered that they can't live without me, and now you're off to the races and you're fighting like cats and dogs, and you're like, how did I get here? The higher message is the Ace of Wands. Your new life awaits you. Perhaps you had more closure that needed to be had, or just in terms of your own, something needed to be kind of like dealt with, and now you are ready to say goodbye to that person. Well, maybe you're not ready. That's what I'm saying, is that when you're ready, it's like, I think you're just going to take off like a rocket. But this is the challenge card, so we have to look at what is holding you back. The Death card is the card of transition. So maybe, just maybe, there's something in your life that you need to kind of let go of, and you haven't been able to do so. So what happens when you can't let go of something? You hold on to it. And when you hold on to it, you may be like not allowing yourself to grow. You might be stagnant. And Pisces cannot be stagnant, because you are a chameleon. You're a mutable water sign. If there's any more sign, if there's a more changeable sign out there, please email me. Maybe Gemini can give you a run for your money. You're both mutable signs, but I think that Pisces, it's like you're channeling the environment around you, and that means that sometimes you kind of like go with whatever is happening in the moment, but it also can mean that you must put your foot down when it's time to call something quits. And you must have the ability to know that whatever that thing is not the highest purpose for your life. And once you are convinced of that, you will never, second guess yourself again. But getting there, and the other thing too that I would say about the Death card is that sometimes people do go back and forth in relationships, or even sometimes with jobs. My father, I think he quit 3 times in one of his companies, or in the company they worked for, and he worked there decades. But he got mad at his boss 3 times and quit, and then came back. So some people, and I think he might have had a moon in Pisces. So, you're an emotional person. You're led by your emotions. The 8 of Cups is that desire to want to, really feel aligned at a deep level with something. And I feel that's true of all of the water signs. Who knows, though, if you have the moon in Scorpio, for instance, then this is like paramount. Somebody told me what the 8 of Cups, what astrological the correlation is, but I would put it as maybe the moon in Scorpio. I'm not sure. And the moon in Scorpio, just as kind of that element, is this idea of really feeling something and not being fickle or just kind of indifferent that any old thing will do. It's like, no, this is what I want, and I want it, at the depth of my being, and I want to experience life at a deep level. I don't want to just kind of skim the surface of life. Also, the Death card connects to Scorpio, so if this person that you're dealing with is a Scorpio, it might be showing that they're not good for you, that there's something within their nature that is not helpful for your life. What is coming in is represented by the Three of Swords, and to me, this is about a clean break. This card is also connected to heart surgery, if anybody's was planning on it. But this idea of making that break, not being back and forth, not being wishy-washy, The Three of Swords connects with a feeling of rejection. And this is something that may be on a very subtle level controlling you, where you're afraid of rejection. And this is something that happens sometimes when people are the one that gets broken up with, that they start to feel bad about themselves because it's not, sometimes it isn't really always just that they are sad that they're not with that person anymore, but the ego, the blow to the ego, that, the other person maybe is interested in somebody else or what have you. And truth be told, you might not even really be that emotionally connected to that person, but just the fact that they would leave kind of triggers something within you. However, in this reading, I'm not so sure that that is the case, because with the Eight of Cups, I feel that that was you that left, or that checked out emotionally if you didn't actually physically leave. And so the Three of Swords can be like a necessary break, cut, that has to occur. And the outcome is the Two of Wands. So there's some cards here of even relocation. Even with the Eight of Cups, I would say more of a spiritual quest. With this, you could be like debating whether or not to stay where you are or leave. And the two cards, it's interesting that I got a few fire cards here, because that can be expansion, and that means that the person is looking to maybe go places that they haven't been before and see new sights and experience new adventures in life. This is something that I think is part of the human spirit, and if that is something, whether it's to have new work, or just to kind of feel that you are injecting new life into your surroundings, doesn't matter. Actually, with the Ace of with the Ace of Wands, it can be just like new beginnings, but there's like that sense of passion about it, sense of freedom. So I just think that's great. I hope that you enjoyed this, Pisces. If you'd like a private reading, the link to my ordering page is below. Have a great month of July. Take care. Bye.